Hey, greetings. Welcome to the Hawkeye Rising YouTube channel. My channel. It's been a few days. We are live, and I feel. How are you all? How am I doing? How are you all doing? How are you all doing? Again, whether you get this, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, or morning time, another day, another hour, another year, another month, not in that order, on the flat earth. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah. I think it's one of those whether and call it inspired. I don't know. It's like there's certain topics if we don't hit it, it's not and if I don't hit record because it's like how do I line this up? I'm missing something. I'm missing a lot of things, and then it just doesn't happen. And it's just like as I've said before, and I've heard it somewhere on some media training other channel about their intro. It's summarized, and you got to just hit record. It's in part learning against learning as you go. This is not Jesuit Ratio Studiorum. This is not Mary Montessori method, Ignatian spirituality method. But what we do is we take our indoctrination, turn it around, and expose it. Because, of course, as your Hawkeye said many times, the Jesuit Superior General is your Hawkeye's father. So, in part, that makes us very dangerous to the machine, because we expose, in part, what's been revealed to us. And then, of course, if we are watchmen, not claiming to be one, at the same time, somehow, some way, why do we have this insight? And in part, will fruit come of this? Because in part, my reach is certainly not grand at all, but nonetheless, I'm grateful for the team, the Sarichi team, Johnny. It's been so amazing to finally see Doc on camera with the captain, and again, just their interaction. I'm trying to think when I first started listening to them. 2016. Within the subject matter, there was always some kind of laughter happening, and of course, that you got to be able to laugh, but sincere, inspired laughter and spontaneous laughter, which I did appreciate then, still appreciate now, and I appreciate those men as brothers and as teammates. And it's again just a dog. Well done. Thank you for. Yeah. Wow. Even the part of that testimony, I believe. I don't have the exact date offhand, but I believe. Imagine that on the flat Earth, the exact same. Well, maybe not live, but at some point in 2015, Canary Cry Radio. So Gons Shimura. And what is it? Basil Rosewater. So Gons is Face Like the Sun, and Basil, Canary Cry Radio. I can't remember how many episodes they had done. They were known for being consistently inconsistent, which again, two guys doing their thing. And of course, we can, looking back, can be highly critical of their work. What they don't say. Rome, Jesuits, Vatican. I think it was episode 90, 91, 92, somewhere between 90 and 94. Johnny Sarichi was their guest, I believe, after Rebecca Roth. And I think I'd spoken publicly about this too, about because I'd heard that I had just found Canary Cry Radio in 2015, and I heard the Rebecca Roth interview, which astounding, mesmerizing. It was quite something. I haven't heard it in years, so being able to pull things out of the air right now to specifically comment on, I can't do. But generally, it was a fascinating interview because Roth, I think she had been in the airline industry for a very long period of time, and had used that knowledge in order to, whether it was months, I don't know how much time she spent in research. At least this is what she says in putting her book together, and I don't have the title. Again, this is just off the cuff. But I had never ever. I don't know where I was, what I was doing, where I'd been up to that point. I was into other subject matter, but I had not heard the quote unquote, it's the Jews narrative. I think in part I'd heard it maybe off to the side on the peripheral and the fringe, but had never thought about it consciously, at least when somebody dropped or made a reference to it with Hollywood and so on, prominent so-called Jews in highly visible positions. And it was really, it was quite something, an experience to hear. So after Roth's interview on Canary Cry Radio, to have it immediately being followed up, the next person in line was Johnny Cerrucci, and immediately him critical and pointing out that it made his body tingled with something's not right with how hard she was pushing for the CIA and the Mossad narrative, and I believe Johnny referred to them as junior players, and then of course jumped into discussing, well, his first book, Illuminati Unmasked, published. It's funny, I have the publication date, I believe, from Amazon.ca is January 27, 2015. I think in the States, the publication date might be January 30th or 31st, 2015. So anyway, all that said, Doc and I were listening to the same Canary Cry program, and I think that's amazing. That led to some changes in Doc's life, and then of course, that led to some changes in mine. What's really cool though, at some point, maybe it was 2015, 2016, I got my own copy of Illuminati Unmasked, and this is where I think I'd written Johnny. And the cool thing was he responded, because I had written Gons Shimura, I'd written Rob Skiba, I reached out to, I think, you know what, I want to give credit to Jesuit trained Jaron Campanella. I believe I wrote to him and he did respond, and I think he even responded in a timely manner. But most of my experiences, I never heard from anybody. I even had the experience of sending, as we try and do. How do we help? Well, back the idea of donations, sending donations. Again, it's the left hand, right hand. There's no expectation once that stuff gets sent. It's, hey, Father, you do what you're going to do with it, and may it be a blessing to somebody. Anyway, the cool thing was being able to go through, so having a hard copy of Illuminati Unmasked and noting just part of my training, of course, the English language, sentence structure and spelling, and then just finding punctuation and so on. And it's not that, you got to remember when an author, so self-published author, not only that though, but if you do not have a copy of any of Johnny's books, you got to understand the size of these volumes, the size of these. What he would say that his wife says, Johnny, you don't write books, you write tomes. They're not paperweights. They're textbooks. I've said that a few times before. I had even said about it, even Johnny's third book, Eaters of Children, to pedocracy exposed, how access to power is granted through the rape, torture, and ritualistic slaughter of the innocent. The idea that that should be in criminal, like taught in criminology courses, and yet, of course, we know that that's not the point of Jesuit Ratio Studiorum education. A good Jesuit Ratio Studiorum education, openly or covertly. Hello, Mr. Alex. I'm not gonna. Awesome. Well, hey, if you're talking with somebody, grand. Yeah, John. It was told by Dana that both Johns Hopkins and University of Pennsylvania are involved in starting fuss. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that, but it's not surprising. Certainly, Johns Hopkins, both. Because I was actually going to point out with the names, places, dates, the fact that Benjamin, we are at the where is it? The event 201. So 18 October, of course, yesterday. Remember, 2019, so 4 years ago. I realize I'm not sharing the screen, that's okay. You know what? Why don't I just get into that right now? I don't plan on being here long, but so I'll try and be as safe and effective as possible. Share a screen. So tabletop exercises. So Johns Hopkins. So remember, event 201, Johns Hopkins Center for Health and Security in partnership with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation hosted event 201. I wasn't necessarily going to get into this, but the fact that we have, and I think in part though, now there's so many, how to even nail this with intersecting dates, names, places, dates. So the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security in partnership with the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. I remember Melinda Gates, who has a great uncle, is a Jesuit priest, and she was trained by the Ursulines. Devout Roman Catholic, hosted event 201 and the course 201, and I want to credit, through Johnny, to Zachary Hubbard, so Gematria Effect News 25 YouTube channel for the 201, pointing that out, that the 201 Jesuits that were given safe harborage in Russia under Catherine the Great during the Jesuit suppression from 21 July 1773 to 7 August 1814, so 41 years, supposedly. High-level pandemic exercise on 18 October, or October 18, 2019, in New York. The exercise illustrated areas where public-private partners will be necessary during the response to a severe pandemic, ... But remember, January 10th, 2017, within months of Donald John, of Jesuit trained at, 2 years at Fordham, then the Wharton School of Business through the University of Pennsylvania. After his November 2016 election, January 10, 2017, at Georgetown University, do we say triple dipped, double dipped, potentially ordained Jesuit Anthony the Sickle, the mouth of Sauron, Fauci, announced that there would be a surprise pandemic during the Trump administration. So, and January 10th, 2017, announced at Jesuit Georgetown University. Okay, so just remembering this though. So 18 October. Why is 18 October important? Okay, well, remember, payback is a bitch. And if the Jesuit order does of course carry forth the mark of Cain, the 7 times 7 times, as Frederick Tupper Saucy III succinctly points out in the third to last chapter of Rulers of Evil, Useful Knowledge about Governing Bodies, tracing the mark of Cain all the way back to how Cain slaughtered Abel. And I do agree. That there is that intimate connection. I think I've added some points to what Saucy laid out, but I think it is profound in its simplicity. And I think in part, as I've said many times, Rulers of Evil is too good to be ignored, but also remembering Saucy, who has very close Freemasonic and Jesuit familial connections, may have been an ordained Jesuit himself. And of course, doesn't matter if Saucy is a Huguenot name, doesn't matter. Remember, what's the fourth vow? All sides are owned. All sides are infiltrated, all sides are owned. Isaac Jogues, so Jesuit missionary, would have been a fourth vow ordained. His date of death, remember, 18 October 1646, tomahawk to the head. We have a and then of course today, so we have our 18 October. So let's just click on Isaac Jogues for a second. So, well, how about this? The fact that I was just already talking about 10 January 1917. What the dude? January 10, 2017. And now look at this. So the fact that, Isaac Jogues, 10 January 1607. So, and of course, we get his beatification date. I think in the June 21, well, 3 days prior to the John the Baptist feast day, I believe the birthday of John the Baptist, and also, 24 June, but the birthday of, I want to say that, was it Legionnaire's disease in the 70s? There was an incident that took place around June 20th, 21, 22-ish. Okay, but here we go, the feast day. All this being said, I just wanted to point out, because today, being October 19, which in part is what inspired today's tonight's brief, we have the feast day of they're known as the North American Martyrs, or the Canadian Martyrs, also known as the North American Martyrs. 8 Jesuit missionaries from Sainte Marie among the Hurons. They were ritually tortured and killed on various dates in the mid-17th century in Canada, in what is now southern Ontario, and in upstate New York, during the warfare between the Iroquois tribes, the Mohawk and the Huron. They have subsequently been canonized and venerated as martyrs of the Catholic Church. And then, of course, Jean de Brebeuf, who's one of the patron saints of Canada. I believe I've done multiple videos, actually a year. I did a number of videos, Saucy, and then, of course, because this is Frederick Tupper Saucy's death date anniversary as well. 2007, I believe, 16 March 2007. 2007 or 2009. But the fact that, so we have our listed names of the North American martyrs. Tomahawk to the head, tomahawk to the head, tomahawk to the head, shot, boiling water, and fire at the stake, shot. And in previous briefs, I did discuss, from a Jesuit site, it was listed that Jean de Brebeuf had his feet cut off, he had his tongue cut out, he was scalped, a steel poignard right from the fourth vow. It's like the fourth vow being revisited back onto him. The devices that he would use were applied directly to him. And I, of course, asked the question: what was Brebeuf caught doing that earned him that kind of that brutal death? Feet cut off, tongue cut out. He was scalped. A hot poignard was put down his throat, and then his heart was cut out. Moment of silence, like that, not in honoring, but in perplexity. Shock and awe. All right. While I'm here, Cosimo de Medici, just wanted to point out at some point whether or not the team ever sees this, or the cap ever sees this. So 27 September 1389. So in part, look at the homage of the Jesuit order founded, not founded necessarily, but Paul III with his papal bull Regimini Militant. Remember, a war declaration, Regimini Militant Ecclesia, September 27, 1540. And then, of course, his death date, 1 August 1464. I have found sources that list Lorenzo Ricci, 18th Jesuit Superior General, as 1 August, birthday 1703, but 2 August is more prominent. And then, of course, the fact that 2nd August 1776 being the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the actual signing date of the Declaration of Independence, it seems more fitting that it is 2nd August. I think Peter Favre, Jesuit order co-founder, has an August 1st date, either at birth, I think a death date, and his feast day is August 2nd as well. So the fact that there seems to be less mounting coins being put on some dates more than others, well, it gives weight to those dates, as we've laid the case of Sun Tzu and drum beats, applying what we've been taught through the art of war text and rulers of evil, useful knowledge about governing bodies. Okay, but back to this idea. So 18 October 2019. But remember what happened so we're going to another date that, look at this. Ignatius Loyola's birthday, 23 October 2022. We have a catastrophic contagion pandemic tabletop exercise at the Grand Challenges annual meeting in Brussels, Belgium. So the fact that it wasn't immediately played out like, okay, maybe take that back. It wasn't rolled out like Event 201. So just noting the date, we have our clear Ignatian intersection there, 2022. Okay, Canadian Martyrs, North American Martyrs, covered that. Right now, okay, and in part also too, I had a friend from Eastern Canada reach out yesterday. Homeboy gets home from work, and what's at his door? Ellen Gould White's The Great Controversy. So I don't know whether there's an Adventist ministry mailing or hand delivering Great Controversy, but his question was, "Hey, is the stuff in this book true, for real?" And I'll share. I've not read. I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if I want to devote the time. Remember, where we devote our time. Of course, most of us, time is of the essence, and where we devote our time. At the same time, do I need to know what it says in order to directly refute it? Or yes, there's merit, of course, in understanding what a source that I would disagree with says, but part of my role, at least right now, applying names, places, dates, there's enough that the questions that surround, so not just Ellen Gould White, but the fact that she has plagiarized, was it J.A. Wiley? She did not practice what she preached. That has been discussed in multiple team briefs. Johnny's discussed that at length. Dietary restrictions, clothing, and I would say in agreement that she did not fear Jesus. She did not fear Jesus Christ at all. And what was her role? And the fact that how many men, how many people elevate her, well, idolatry. And is she literally like the queen? Well, in an effort to, I don't want to go down this road at the moment, but it's not equating her with the Queen of Heaven, but it's inevitable. It is inevitable. Where you come up with this female, feminesque, faux feminine presence, entity. And anyway, but the fact that there's right now in October, the annual council, so 2023 kicks off by, back to this, the fact that igniting a global passion, the ignition word is added in this title. So the General Conference for the Seventh-day Adventist Church convened on 5 October 2023 for the so on and so forth. But what I did want to point out, this is what I wanted to point out. And the fact that, so James Springer White and Ellen Gould White clearly have, as your Hawkeye, with the dates surrounding them. So with James Springer White, August 4th and August 6th. You have Ellen Gould White. You have, I want to say November 26th. So 1827. But the fact that remember, who died November 26th, 2016? Peter John Kolvenbach. And where? Beirut, Lebanon. Okay, so just pause that. Let's just check this out for a moment. The Seventh-day Adventist Church pioneers were members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, part of the group of Millerites. Remember William Miller, Freemason, who came together after the Great Disappointment. So we're going back to circa, 1844, during the year of the Great Disappointment. 3 distinct dates that Miller gave for the second coming of Jesus Christ across the United States, and formed the Seventh-day Adventist Church in 1860. The pioneers of the fledgling movement settled on the name Seventh-day Adventist, representative of the church's distinguishing beliefs. 3 years later, on 21 May 1863, the General Conference of Seventh-day Adventists was formed, and the movement became an official organization. Okay, so right away, and I pointed this out many times before, the idea, when you have when a date, an event specifically, or you get a person, so I'll point this out. This is very important to many. Back to this idea of, do listeners eye roll when whether as I or we discuss these things? The fact that, back to this idea of Sun Tzu and drum beats, perhaps one of the most revered Jesuit superior generals, the unknown founding father of the United States of Romerica, 18th Jesuit superior general Lorenzo Ricci. Okay, let's just acknowledge his birthday, or at least as and it's not this, that it's only Vatipedia that acknowledges it, but so 2nd August 1703, and his given death date of 24 November 1775. When did he begin his generalate? 21 May 1758. Okay. So when I see 21 May anywhere, and then of course combined with Adventism, and this was just over 100 years, so 105 years after Lorenzo Ricci stepped into the office of the Black Papacy. I also wanted to point out, no, I'll leave it at that. I think that is, I'll leave it at that. But the fact that I just wanted to briefly address that as a result of having the great controversy being whether it was hand delivered or whether there was a Canada Post bomb. Somebody was inspired in Eastern Canada. Okay, what I did want to point out while we're discussing Lorenzo Ricci, let's just go to on the origin of species by means of natural selection or the preservation of favored races in the struggle for life. When was it published? 24 November 1859. Remember, here we have our coinciding date. And not only that, how about this? We have Charles Robert Darwin. Look at this. The fact that 12 February 2022, the day that Giovanni Cerrucci published The Disciples of Ra. But here's our birthday I think Bill Hicks, Alex Jones also has a 12 February birthday. But the fact that Darwin, we love him so much, we just name drop his last name because everybody knows who you're talking about. So Charles Robert Darwin, look at this, 19 April 1882. The fact that he gets the accident pillow on the first Jesuit Superior General anniversary date. Just wanted to point that out. I think I'm going to. Okay, while we're still close to the points about the Seventh-day Adventists, sorry, chat. I'm not looking at you at the moment, but I'll get there shortly. If you've said something, I know your Hawkeye really sucks at correspondence sometimes, most of the time. I sincerely apologize. May there be grace and mercy for that. The General Conference Corporation of Seventh-day Adventists is the governing organization of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Its headquarters is located in Silver Spring, Maryland, next to Virginia, the Virgin of Yah. Yeah, and oversees the church in directing its various divisions, blah, 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 blah. Okay. But just skipping down, divisions and attached union fields. This, I feel like I'm going to be channeling for one moment Walter Vuth. This is fascinating. This is fascinating. Okay. I'm certain there could be a lot of information mined from these locations, but what caught my attention, the headquarter locations for the attached union and fields. So we have the Middle East and North African. So Beirut, Lebanon. Remember who died? Which Superior General died in 2016 on 26 November? Peter John Kovenbach. And of course, when did we just have a unique explosive experience on, I believe it's White's birthday, 4 August 2020. Was it 2020? I know if I'm freaking dates. So I think the saturation point is crazy, where it's like, okay, is it this year, that year? Doesn't matter. Forget what. Nonetheless, the explosion in Beirut also coincided with James Springer White, either his death day or his birthday. So the fact that you have dates through a Jesuit superior general and the location, a death location connecting both these two. What a triangle. Okay. Israel, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Chinese Union Mission, Hong Kong, Ukrainian Union Conference, Kiev. These 4 locations, like within the last 4 years, some sheer shit's gone down. And it's like, okay, so fascinating. Just wanted to point that out. And what's this? How about just throwing this in here? I don't know why. Bonnie and Clyde, their concealed handguns. The fact that they were shot and killed 23 May 1934. So 23 May, of course. Who is it? So Heinrich Himmler's death date was 23 May 1945. But 23 May, I believe it's also Girolamo Savonarola, a reformer. He was... I don't know if he got the Tyndall treatment. Choked the F out and then burned. But nonetheless ended up being burned. Brutal death. After being brutally tortured, arms rotated out of his sockets, and repositioned multiple times. My goodness. Okay. And of course, Johnny's covered that subject matter in Romans and Mass Destruction, Volume 1. But the fact that Bonnie and Clyde, so this article is dated, so Bastille Day, July 14, 2012. Also up for auction on September 30th. Yeah, so the feast day of Third Jesuit Superior General Francis Borgia. Online bids accepted from September 23rd. Okay, our Parker's cosmetic case, Barrow's gold Elgin pocket watch, and 2 other Colt revolvers belonging to Clyde Barrow. In addition, our auction is selling Colt 25 pocket auto pistol, once belonging to Al Capone, and a musical manuscript signed by the Chicago mobster and dedicated to a Jesuit priest. I don't have the name for that yet. When he was in Alcatraz prison, and just thought that was very interesting. Very interesting. All right, I gotta kick it. I gotta get out of here. What am I missing? Legendary. Thanks, Abel. Appreciate it. Certainly, hey, inspiring to see that. I hope something's inspiring because, hey, we live in very. Is it Chinese, Japanese? It's not a swear. It's not a cuss. It's not a swear word but it's an interesting statement, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but when translated, it's not a fuck you, but it's may you live in interesting times. And certainly we are living in interesting times. Yep. Sorry. Okay. Hey, Lauren. Greek breakfast. Okay, good. It looks like there's some intercommunication in the chat. That's good. Fantastic. Yeah. Jesuits love to screw with people's minds. Yeah, well, hey, Mindfuckery 101, Jesuit Ratio Studiorum. As I love it. I love and respect the doc, and he put it brilliantly. The Dominican, remember, when the Council of Trent, the Inquisition was taken from the Dominican order and given to the Jesuit order. And Doc succinctly put, the Dominicans were masters at torturing the body, but the Jesuit order became masters not only at torturing the body, but also torturing the mind. All right, I'll leave it at that. And I think I hit most. No, I missed some points, but that's okay. I missed some points, but that's okay. Like the fact that the Rhythm in the Night single by Corona, where is it? we get a unique tarot card that's pulled. When I saw this, I was like, just pull the hangman, you motherfucker, pull it. But it wasn't. It was the strength card. I believe it's the tarot card with the woman. Some cards show it's either she's pulling a Samson and ripping open the lion's jaws, however you want to interpret that. But the fact that this single was released 1993, November 5th, remember the 5th of November, and the fact that this, look at this. Oh, yeah, back to mindfuckery, Montessori, Jesuit Racist Judiorum 101. We've been hit years. Inception is real, as I've said many times. Okay, I got to sign off. All right, I love you all very much. The Lord loves you. And whether we say Jesus Christ, whether we say Messiah or the Messiah or Yahushua HaMashiach, I love you and Jesus loves you, and very much. And of course, what was the reason for the death, burial, and resurrection? And then of course, if that's still a question, who is Jesus? Who is this? Who is this man? Who is this King of Glory? Is he a king at all? What did he say? Not only I am the good shepherd, but I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man come to the Father but by me. Father, thank you for your word. May it produce fruit, be sown into good, rich soil, and literally take good root. Whether and if you're this, I don't mean to be. It's not about. I don't preach. I don't care for that. But it's obviously understanding and exposing this world system, and the fact that in part the Jesuit Superior General is in direct opposition to the King of Kings, to the King of Kings. Who remember Revelation? Behold, who holds the keys to death and Hades? That's the bad motherfucker. That's the one you need to fear. All right. Anyway, Lauren, much love. Benjamin, Neil, Alex. These may be your handles, maybe not be your names. All right. For now, this is your Hawkeye signing off.